Hello YouTube, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk around the red hallway section of RE2 for both the A scenarios. So this is going to be for Leon A and Claire A. One of the more infamous parts, one of the most difficult parts of the speed run right here. We're going to try and dumb each part down for you today and try and ease your mind as best we can throughout this section of the game. A lot of people get to this point, very high pressure moments, and it does cause a lot of resets if you don't know how to navigate this part in the best way possible. So for reference on this today, we did the Olo Horde video last time, so if you want to learn how to do that dodge, make sure to check that video out. For the premise of this video today, we're going to show you how to do the safe strat. This dodge in the next room that we're going to be going into is completely safe, and this dodge only costs you around about 2.5 seconds on the Olo Horde dodge today. I would advise newcomers definitely to do this dodge rather than the Olo one, and like I said in the last video, you only really need to be doing the Olo dodge strats when you are going for an optimized time. So we're going to try and talk you through these sections bit by bit. Please bear with us through certain parts. If you've just come to this video for a certain part of the dodge, or should I say certain part of the area, then make sure to skip along in the video. We're going to be going through each little detail to make sure we have a bit of an understanding on each section. So, first room is Blue Corridor. And what we're going to do here is we are going to play the safe strat. So, as soon as you come in this room, all you have to do is pre-turn right, and then you run down towards where these books are here. Now, if you want to do this optimized, you don't really want to spend much time dawdling around. You do have to wait this section here for a quick moment. I would usually typically say around about 1.5 seconds, maybe 2 tops. But my timescales aren't exactly 100%. But you kind of get a feel for how long you need to wait based on the movement of these zombies here. So if we're going to play this video on a little bit. When you see this second zombie come into shots, that's typically the time where I will start to make my run out. So you want to pre-turn, run down the wall, and you want to turn so you are facing towards this wall. Once you start seeing this zombie come into frame, you want to then start running forward, and then most of the zombie horde is actually going to allow you to run down this side. Now, obviously, compared to Olo Horde, you're aiming for a little tiny gap down this side. On the safe strat, you're going to open up a nice gap for you to run through on this side. So, once you open up this gap, run forward, and then run down the left-hand side here. You want to try and run around this bench here. There is another bench just beyond here. So what you want to try and do is run through this little groove here and then aim yourself so you are running back out in this direction once you come out. Now, please be careful of this zombie here, because if you try to do this dodge too early, or if you try to turn in too early, this zombie will make chow out your neck, and you will lose at least 1 bite's worth of HP in this section. If you are incredibly unlucky, another one might end up getting to you and grabbing you as well. But the premise of this is fairly simple. Come out the room, run down this wall, wait for a second or two, and then you want to run around the zombies on this side, and you'll see we actually have plenty of room to maneuver around. This zombie will typically lag, and then will realise that you are on your way and do a dodge like this, which is why I said just be careful around this one zombie. But your movement wants to be kind of generated around this direction and then around this bench here, and you should have plenty of room to run down. So that's Blue Hallway in the safest way possible. Now, this is when the pressure starts to pile on, because there's a lot of dynamics for you to kind of look out for in such a short space of time. What we are going to do is we're going to try and break these down step by step for you, and I will give you my honest feedback on these sections on how difficult I believe they are, and what the optimized line is throughout each section. Now, obviously, as Claire, you have a little bit more room to play with because the hitbox for Claire is slightly smaller than Leon's. So the element of error in terms of the movement is a little bit more forgiving in this scenario. With Leon A, you have to be a little bit more direct and honest with your movement. But if you get these lines right, you'll pretty much get this every time. A lot of people say there's a lot of RNG involved in this room. I like to argue that if you have perfect movement, you'll pretty much never take a bite in this room, apart from maybe one zombie, which is the first zombie that we're going to be encountering. So as we come into this room, you'll notice that we are greeted straight away with this first zombie here. So we immediately run into this room into a blind dodge. We only see this door, we only see Claire in a close-up camera spot, and as soon as we move into the next camera shot, we will see this zombie. So the first movement you kind of want to do is you want to move in this direction towards this wall. And what you do with a lot of dodges in this game is you want to try and open up as big a gap as possible for you to run through in these tight areas. And doing this movement will immediately allow you to create this space here to run around the other side. So as soon as we get within this kind of distance with the zombie here, you want to basically turn around the side of this zombie. Now, this zombie is probably the biggest part of RNG in this room. With Claire, it's a lot easier to deal with than it is for Leon. The zombie can either walk this way following you, which opens up this gap, or he can completely ignore you and carry on walking straight. Now, if he does walk straight, you're going to have a bit of a hard time. You're going to have to do some quick thinking and try and alter your movement. So what you would need to do at this point is probably stop, walk backwards so the zombie follows you, and then continue your run past. So let's just go over that movement once again. As soon as we enter the room, we move over to this wall. The zombie is now right, bang, line of sight, I can see you. I'm going to carry on this trajectory. And then what needs to happen then is you get towards the zombie, make this arc around, and then you can be on your way down the corridor. Okay, first zombie, success. We've made it past. Right, another blind dodge here, because there are two more zombies around this corner, and they are scattered in such a way where you have to kind of do a weaving effect. Now, there is two ways around this first zombie. The first is rather a ridiculous dodge. You can just turn blindly into this little gap here, and there is a tiny gap in between the wall and the zombie if he is asleep. There's sometimes he will be aware of your presence and he will just instantly grab you. But again, with Claire, it's a lot easier to do than Leon. But if you're doing this in a safe and efficient manner, what you want to try and do is run down this side of the wall, and as you get round the corner, you can see the two zombies already poised. They're already seeing you. But if you keep yourself a little bit of distance between you and this zombie here, and you run down this side of the wall, what I like to tell people to do is touch the wall with Claire. Make sure that you touch the wall, so then you're giving yourself as much room as possible to be able to get around. And you want to kind of keep turning in like a semicircle, and then face Claire back around. So this zombie will then lunge around this way, and because of this early movement, you've now dragged what we like to call Misty in this general direction, and it opens up this space here to run around the other side. Now, if you get grabbed by this zombie here, there is a remedy for it. And the remedy is to kind of just take your time and see what Misty is going to do. Now, typically, you'll get grabbed around this section here. Now, I can't quite remember off the top of my head what the fix is, but I will try and address that and try and kind of leave a comment in the bottom of the video for you. But I believe the correct answer to that is if you get grabbed here, then walk backwards slightly, and then Misty will be out the way and you can carry on running down this way. But your semicircle movement wants to take you around the other side of Misty, and then you can carry on down into this room over here. So, very tricky beginning to Red Hallway, and again, this is what gives this area such a high pulse and a high heart rate feel, because there's such a lot going on in such a short space amount of time. So again, stick to this wall, run around, get to this angle here, touch the wall, and then move in a semicircle around this direction. If you don't get grabbed by this zombie, you're pretty sure to get around this one as well on normal difficulty. First movement is we make it into this room over here. Pick up the stone. This is all kind of self-explanatory, this. You just want to leave yourself a little bit of room here. You don't want to be turning this way because the licker can jump through the window, and sometimes he won't attack you with a jump attack as he comes through the window, but he can get you stuck on his body, and then all it takes is a swipe and you lose yourself some HP, which is rather silly at this point. But you pick the stone up and just run across the side of the table there, and you make it out of the room nice and simple. Okay, next movement you want to do, pre-turn right, and you want to use this wall now. Now, if you want to take it to the extremes, you can use this wall, run down the wall, stop here, pre-turn, and make your way around the zombie this way. But this zombie is typically out of the way if you just pre-turn and then start running in this general direction. But again, same kind of premise as the first zombie. Lead the zombie to where you want it to go, and then change your direction last second. So you want to kind of turn away from the zombie at this point. Be careful of this bench, and make sure you give yourself enough room. Like I said, you can run down this wall, you can get to around about this area here, and then you can pre-turn around the zombie and take it that way. I feel like that's probably a little bit more dangerous, and the zombie is a little bit more unpredictable if you do it that way. But if you do it in one nice fluid movement, 99 times out of 100, you're going to have no problems here. Open up the door, and then you are greeted in this room with this licker. Now, this room is probably, in my opinion, the trickiest part of Red Hallway to get right every time. Now, you can do the dodges around those zombies, and you can rehearse them, This is very specific to steps, specific movement, and you have to be on the ball at all moments in this room. Because if you make any slight error or any slight judgment wrong, you're probably going to pay for that with a little bit of damage. So, when you run into this room, you just want to press up and run for 2 steps. So you'll see, as we enter the room, 2 steps, okay? Now, you can run around this side of the licker and make it pass without taking any damage, but for this specific movement path, you have to do this. 2 steps forward, run left around this side of the licker. Okay? He will typically do the lick animation if you do this. Okay? Which gives you a little bit of time to put a little bit of distance between you and the licker itself. It's facing the wrong way. It does the lick attack, and then it has to turn around. Okay? This then gives you the time to be able to use the lighter and get yourself into the position to do the puzzle. Now, like I said, every movement has to be correct here. So you run up to the furnace, use the lighter, and then you want to pre-turn and make your way to this middle faucet here. Use the faucet, run here. This movement here is crucial. If you don't get this right and you don't get the trigger straight away, you give in this licker more time to get towards you, and it's kind of like a countdown. You've got until the licker basically reaches this little line in the floor here. If that licker makes it past that line, by the time you get to this faucet here, you're going to take some damage in this room. Pretty much 100%. I have kind of tried different things to kind of replicate a save in this room if this licker makes it past here, but it's not 100% efficient, so I'm not going to show you that unless I get an actual 100% efficient way to do it. But focus on your movement. Get this faucet here. Get to this faucet here. And you want to be kind of running in this general direction as you press this button. Press the button. Get to the faucet here. Now, typically, if you do the right movement, you'll have the licker around about this area here. If he's around here, you're not going to be breathing too heavily. We've actually left ourselves a little bit of distance here. This is really far away to what you typically are used to. Now, with him being this far away, it actually works in the licker's favour, because the licker will actually typically run after you if he's this far away, and continue running after you as you go and picking the cog up in this room. So once you've pressed this faucet here, Claire does all the work here. She pre-turns there for you. The liquor still hasn't moved, and all you want to do is hold up and right here, around in this direction, and you should be well out of the way of this liquor then to do what you need to do in the rest of the room. Now, sometimes he can come running after you, and you've kind of just got to play with the wind there and deal with it as it comes. But typically, he will stay behind here because of the distance that you leave yourself between. He loses where you are, and he'll just typically mess around here until you leave the room. So, up and right, make your way down, pick up the cog, and then make your way out the room. So we'll just go over that one more time for you. And then what we'll do at the end of the video is we'll just go through all of this in real time for you. So again, start the room. 2 steps, turn on the second step. Turn on the second step. This is crucial. If you don't get this right, the rest of the work isn't going to work properly. Into the corner like the faucet. First movement wants to be towards here. You're against the clock. You're against the clock. This liquor will make it to this line. If it makes it to this line or beyond, you're pretty much going to be in trouble. Up and right. Down to the end of the room. Pick up your cog. That liquor's way out of sight. You're not going to have any problems. Okay. Heart's pounding at this point. Your heart is absolutely pounding. You've done everything right. You've got past the liquor. You've got past the zombies on the way in. Now you've got to get out. And this is where I see a lot of runs go wrong. Because of the amount of adrenaline that's going through your body. This is where people usually lose their runs. But again, very simple movement will pretty much get you out of here. On Claire's scenario, 9 times out of 10. Leon, again, it's a little bit more tricky because his hitbox is slightly wider, so you have to be a little bit more direct with your movement. But again, come out the room. Stick to this wall. So you want to kind of run to this wall. Don't stick to it as such, but you want to leave yourself a little bit of room behind the zombie here. Because the zombie's got its back to you, it's going to carry on moving this way, so it's going to open up a little bit of space for you here. This bit can be a bit tricky sometimes if your movement isn't quite right, because this bench is in your way here. But what you want to kind of do, as soon as you get to this position, just tap left, or just hold left slightly to get yourself around this bench here. And this zombie should then lunge past you rather than into you. If you get stuck on the bench, the zombie's probably going to grab you. He's probably going to end up grabbing you, taking some health off you. And if that happens, it actually sometimes takes the rhythm out the rest of the room. And you are more likely to make a mistake after that. But you make it past this zombie. The next dodge is the trickiest one of the lot with these zombies, I reckon. So what you want to do is you want to kind of keep tight around this corner. You don't want to go too wide around here, because what you are then doing is you are then alerting Misty to your presence. So if you make your way around this direction, Misty will see you. She'll know exactly where you are. And then when you try and run back in behind her, she will then lunge either this way, or she will then turn around and lunge into you as you're going to try and go past her. Now, she'll pretty much always lunge for you, but if you make this tight line around this corner, she's probably going to lunge after you after you've gone. Okay, so again, sticking to this wall. She's now lunged past me. We're okay. We've got past Misty. Now, we have another zombie just here. And all we want to do is make our run up and left around this zombie here. Now, sometimes he can be wide awake. He can grab you. But if you do this specific movement, 9 times out of 10, again, you'll make it past. And we want to run. You can see how close this dodge is. This is a scary situation to be in, but it's very doable. Once you make it to this point, if you want to play it ultra safe, you can go for this clipping on the wall again. But with a more optimized approach, you will be able to just arc your run and then continue around the corner. But nothing wrong with going into this wall to make sure you leave that little bit of space between you and this zombie here. And then the final action, really, is to make it past this guy. Now, by this point, if you've made no mistakes, this zombie should already be walking toward this wall, and you'll have a nice big space around here to run through. On Claire's scenario, this is fairly easy to do as long as you keep tight around this corner here, and you can just basically run past. With Leon, it's a little bit more 75-25 in terms of 75%, you're going to make it past 25%. He'll turn around and grab you because Leon will fill this gap here. Claire's obviously got a thinner structure to herself, and she'll have more room to breathe. But that is essentially the whole of the red hallway section. And then just to top the rest of the video off, when you get back into blue hallway, this is nice and easy. You just want to stay tight to this wall, and then you just want to go around the group of zombies. Again, you don't have to go as tight as I do there. And make your way out the door. And hopefully, you've made it in and out of red hallway without taking any damage, and you are now on your way to finishing the run. So yeah, that is essentially red hallway broken down into little pieces for you. With Claire, I'll show you a quick video in a short second with Leon. But I just want to kind of show you in real time the whole shebang, basically. So you go. I'll do a little bit of commentary over the top of this for you. So again, run down the wall, safe method, run down the wall, wait a couple of seconds and then make your way around, making sure to manoeuvre your way around the benches. Into red hallway, first movement is up and left into this direction, gets close to the zombie, run around. Clip the wall, semicircle around Misty there, and you'll pretty much always get past. This room, self-explanatory, pick up the stone, stay close to the table, and make your way out. First movement, pre-turn right. Take the safer approach if you want down the wall, and then go around, but that's pretty much safe. 2 steps, turn. Like the furnace. Centre. Right. Left. Make sure, obviously, you do it in time to make sure that this liquor doesn't make it past its line on the floor. Up and right. Pick up the cog and then make your way back out. That's the liquor room done. And then, of course, the adrenaline's rushing at this point. Stick to this wall, manoeuvre the bench, stay tight round the corner, ride the wall. Up and around the second zombie, and then around the corner, and stay tight to that left-hand side wall there. And you are making your way, hopefully, to a nice big PB in the later stages of the run. But there you go. That is red hallway with Claire. Let me just load up Leon's video, if I've got it here. Okay, so with Leon, it's exactly the same premise. Down the wall. Around. Now you may be thinking, well, maybe I should wait a little bit longer there. I don't really think you need to. So this is where things can get tricky. This zombie, obviously, is more likely to bite you on Leon's scenario because of the wider hitbox. So you can run down this side of the wall and continue along like you do in the Claire scenario, or you can wait here and then turn to the right, well, turn to the left from our perspective here, and then you can run around in like a right angle shape and come down that way. But in this instance, we do that. Again, clip the wall, make your way around the centre of both those zombies. Exactly the same movement. We're picking up the plug in this one. Straight down in here. There's no liquor in here on Leon A, so feel free to do whatever you need to do in here. But again, nice optimised movement. Stick to this left-hand side of the room as you make your way up to the furnace. Light all 3 furnaces. Up and right. It takes you around the desk there. Pick up the cog. Exit the room, and then exactly the same movement yet again on the way out. Stick to the wall, tight round the corner. Again, this is even more scary with Leon. So here, right there, that can be a problem. So this zombie, obviously, he's out the way. We can pretty much see a nice tight, we can see a nice tight space to fit through here. But sometimes he can 180 turn and grab you on the back. Fortunately, he doesn't do it on this occasion, and we can make our way out. And then blue hallway. Ride the room, around the horde, and out the door. And there you go. That is both Claire A and Leon A red hallway sections for you to digest. Hopefully the explanations in the video are nice and clear. If you have any further questions, then make sure to leave a comment in the section below the video. But yeah, a lot of fun doing these tutorials. There will be more coming. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you want to learn, and I'll be sure to do a video for you. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will hope to see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Peace.